All right, well, I received a bunch of puzzles in the mail from Puzzle Master. They were kind enough to send me some puzzles for free so that I could try them out on video and show them to you guys. And I'm gonna look at one of those today. This is the Cast Nutcase by Huzzle. It's listed as 6 stars for the level. I'm not sure what that scale is out of. On Puzzle Master's website, it says it's a level 10, which is mind-boggling. So I guess it's supposed to be difficult. We'll see. You never really know with the difficulty settings on these. It looks like it's just a couple of bolts attached together with a couple of nuts, but obviously it's going to be more complicated than that or it wouldn't be much of a puzzle. So I guess let's just get into it and see what we find. All right, so here we go. This is the Cast Nutcase. As you can see, it just looks like a couple of bolts with a couple of nuts in between. On the back, it does show us the assembled and disassembled version. Apparently there is a smaller nut hidden inside that we're trying to get out. And it says, I thought this is kind of funny, the nut case has 2 meanings: the case surrounding the small nut inside the puzzle, and the way you feel when you try to solve the puzzle. So I guess we'll see if I feel like a nutcase by the time I get done with this. All right, let's open it up. It says nutcase right on it. And let's get our timer started. Get the timer on the screen and going there. There we go. Now, so the idea is just to take these apart. And I can hear the little nut inside. So, and you can actually see right through it. I put my finger. There we go. Yeah, you can see all the way through there. So it's inside. Okay, well, I'll take some pictures of it later and I'll put those on the screen here. But you can actually see the thing inside there, but it won't come out of these holes. So these nuts turn. But of course that's not. Okay, so I think I see what's going on here. There's, each of the bolts is like, so you can see these cuts across lengthwise along the bolt here. And I think each of the bolt heads has like every other one, so they kind of fit together, sort of like this, sort of in a, I don't know how to describe it, but every other one is on the opposite side, is what I think is probably happening. So, and maybe they just pull apart if you get it just right. Now, I did notice it feels like the nuts here are just ever so slightly tilted, a little bit. I'm not sure if that's a clue to what you're supposed to be doing here. What happens if we move both of them to the same side? That would be interesting. No, that didn't do anything. What about the other side? Okay, so both of them can move all the way along, back and forth. But, interesting, because you can't ever pull these apart because they're always attached to both nuts. It's not like you can unscrew one of them far enough that the other side can pull out because the threads go all the way over. Okay, so it's not quite every other. There's these lines going this way, and I said that every other one was on the opposite side, but it's not quite true. So, for example, these two here, you can see a difference between this crack, which is an actual crack, and this one, which is not an actual crack, but is just sort of a indentation. So there's kind of like 2 of them that are the same, and then 2 of them that are the same again. And then there's 1 and 1. So it's kind of like a single one and then maybe 2 on the opposite side. Let's see if I can figure out. So I think this one is attached to this side. And this one is attached to this side. And the next one is again attached to the left side. And this one to the right side. So I think it's kind of like a double and a single. And then a double and a single, and they sort of fit together like this. If that makes sense. Hopefully. But what does that tell us about solving it? That's the question. Now the nut doesn't appear to be, so it looks like, you know, normally a nut is going to have a whole bunch of threads, right? All lined up. And then they're gonna match up with all the threads on the bolt like this, right? But it doesn't look like that's the case here, actually. It looks like there's kind of a gap in there. And so it might actually be, yeah. So I don't even know that the threads go all the way around. It's almost like there's just a little piece of thread, maybe on opposite sides or something. Is this one the same? Let's see. If I go, and so maybe if you line it up, if you line both of them up perfectly, and this is definitely, look how crooked this one is. This one right here. Look how crooked this is. It's not on there straight. How did I do that? And how do I fix it? It's the other question. So what I'm thinking is the threads are not all the way around. And so if you get the threads lined up with the right spots, they won't actually engage on both of the bolts. But how do I figure out how to line it up is the question. And I probably have to have it lined up on both of them at the same time. And now I got this one crooked, and I don't even know how I did that. I was just turning it, and it ended up that way. There we go. Okay, I got it straight again. So I think that tells me that I'm right, because what happened, I think, is I was turning it, and I got it lined up just right so that it was only attached to the one bolt. And then by jiggling this a little bit, it engaged in the next thread over on the other bolt. So if I can line this up just perfectly, gotta get both of them lined up perfectly, and then I think the whole thing will pull apart because this nut will only be attached to the one bolt and the other nut will only be attached to the other bolt. Because I think inside the threads are like thread, gap, something like that. And maybe the words are important, right? So on this nut right here, I can see that the thread starts where this word case is and continues around to this next piece next to the word case. And then there's a gap for 1, 2, okay, so nut and this one have a gap. And then there's another short thread over here. So I think the words are gonna be important. Let's see if the other one is same. All right, I'm gonna move this one out of the way so I can look at the other one better. Gotta get it kind of in the middle so you can see in there. This is tricky. It's hard to see in there to see where the gaps are, but there's definitely, okay, so the gap is, so I think that one should be right there. You can almost feel it like click into place, sort of. Ooh, look at that. I made some progress. It's pulling apart a little bit, more than it was before. Oh, and now I got this one crooked. Ooh, look at that. Now it's pulling apart a lot. Just gotta get them all lined up. Man, I feel like I figured out how it works, but I can't quite get it two actually work. Should be right about there for that one. So then it feels like if I can get this one lined up, I can see what's going on, but I can't quite see it well enough to line it up. Which is maybe what I need to do is get them, you know, sort of, oh, look at this. Look at that. Now the question is that enough to get the nut on the inside out? Or do I have to open it farther? Now if I put these at the ends, will it pull apart? Probably not, but it's worth a shot, right? No. Man, it almost seems like that's a big enough gap that I could get the nut out now, but no, it's too big. It's too wide to fit through that gap, so I've got to keep getting this pulled apart. So I just got to line these up perfectly, I think. There. Oh, it came apart a little bit more. A little bit more. So basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of pulling apart on the ends just a little bit, just putting a little bit of pressure outwards. And so that way as I turn this, you can kind of feel it click, you know, catch when it gets lined up right. It's kind of like picking a lock in some ways. Oh, it's coming apart farther now. So, if you put a little bit of pressure while you're turning it and you get them lined up properly, it's almost like they skip a thread on one of the two bolts. Oh, look at that. Got it. Yes. Okay, so, I mean, maybe it is as simple as lining up the words here, nutcase. And then, look at that, that's what it is. Oh, it's that easy. Look at that, you line up the words nut and case, and then nut and case on the other side as well. Let's stop the timer. So you line up the words nut and case on both sides, and then it can just, that's wild. So here's the nut that we needed to get out. The threads on this nut are aligned with the gaps in the bolt, and so it can just slide, but it's very, there's not much give. Like, it has to be lined up just perfectly. And this one should be the same way on the other bolt. So now they'll pull apart completely. Okay, there, now you can see inside there what's going on with the threads. See, this thread is like a single size, and then on the other side you have a thread that's the double size. And so that has to be lined up perfectly with the gaps here. So there you go, that was the Cast Nutcase by Huzzle. Thanks again to Puzzle Master for sending this puzzle to me. I thought it was a lot of fun. Pretty interesting how I kind of had the idea figured out fairly early on, but it was difficult to get everything lined up perfectly. There's not a lot of room for error in there. So if you'd like to get this puzzle or others like it for yourself, check out links in the description where you can find this on Puzzle Master's website. And if you enjoyed this solve, be sure to like and subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified the next time I post one of these. And I'll see you again soon with some more puzzles. We'll be right back.